What's a sexual misconception you had for way too long? It wasn't till I lost my virginity at 20 that I found out that it feels better to add motion, rather than just going as deep as possible and staying still. I thought the idea was like a charging cable, you put it in and it turns her on. Edit, this blew up. So for clarification, I am not a Mormon. Yes, I'd seen porn, in fact I'd seen my neighbors having sex. I legitimately thought they were doing it wrong. My thinking was that she was doing too good a job of squeezing him out, so he couldn't keep it in. I was very dumb. I was kind of sheltered growing up, and like most sheltered kids, I learned a lot about sex through porn. I kept seeing blowjob videos, and I had no idea what a blowjob, assumed it was some kind of sex blooper. Like, something got messed up and the director said, "Oh darn, you blew it. Let's take it from the top." I didn't understand why people would get off to that, so I never watched any of the videos, so I never learned what it was. Eventually, I wanted to see what the fuss was about and clicked on a blowjob video, and learned the truth. That I should be able to have an orgasm without foreplay first. As a young woman I would see movies and porn and the couple would start having sex right off the bat, no foreplay, and the woman would come like immediately. This did not translate to reality and it made me think something was wrong with me. As I've gotten older and more confident, I have realized that not only is foreplay necessary for me, but men like it more when you tell them what to do and find it really rewarding when you have a real orgasm and don't just fake it. Final point being, ladies, demand foreplay and make them take their time with you. As a girl, I had no real idea of where/what the vagina was until I was like 11 or 12. My mom didn't give me a real sex talk, just a puberty/body book that said, the vagina is between the woman's legs, and just had a full frontal diagram, legs closed, of a woman with an arrow pointing to her pelvic region. I also didn't know a period lasted longer than a day until I got mine at 14, and then wondered why it was still going on the next day. When my mom realized how abysmal my sex education was, her solution was to rent a video from the library about it and make me watch it on the big family TV in the living room at like 3 p.m. Granted, it was a very educational video, but I won't ever forget one of the educators, a 50-year-old woman, talking about how to give a satisfactory blow job. That porn would make me a better lover. I mean, I've always known it's heightened reality and the positions are more about visibility than pleasure, but I thought could learn something useful. I'm sure it normalized a few things for me, and learned some terms or techniques. But you can only learn so much by watching. You have to actually experience something to actually be good at something. Now I think I have a porn/masturbation fetish, as in I can only come by masturbation. As silly as that sound. And a sexually frustrated wife. This is gonna be kinda gross. But when I was young, a long time ago, I asked my mother what testicles were. She was very open and always answered questions, so she tried to explain. She then called over our dog, who was not neutered, and used him as a visual aid. I never really thought that much about it, but realized as a young adult that testicles and penises do not look the same on a dog as a person. They are not covered in hair and they are not always the color of my dog's fur. I honestly didn't know this until I become sexually active, tbh. Men crave sex many times more than women do. Women don't crave sex as much as men do. More often than not, men are assumed to have higher libidos than women. But April 21, 2017, men think, while women desire. Gone are the days when demanding sex was considered exclusively a man's forte. Today women demand sex greater than men. And they have no qualms about getting vocal about it. Typically younger women are less expressive about their need for sex, as they might be naive and inexperienced. But the female libido increases and women become more expressive and vocal about their cravings as they age after they are done bearing and rearing children and the children are grown up. I thought wet dreams were fictional, just something that happened on American Pie, etc. I'd never had one as a teenager and assumed they were a myth/a joke, until I was living with one of my friends a couple years ago and he was up late arguing with his then ex-girlfriend until about 5 a.m.ish. She stayed the night in his bed with him and I heard them arguing again when I was getting up for work. He had a wet dream onto her leg as he slept, Made the situation between them 10x worse. It was so fucking funny to hear about when I got in from work that afternoon.